Hi all, this video is a quick guide to the structure, syllabus and fees related to the CMA US examination. Now the CMA exam, it aligns with the knowledge, skills and abilities that an accountant or finance professional needs for the job today, mainly financial planning and control, analytics and decision support, and the syllabus is aligned accordingly. Now, how do you get the CMA certification? So CMA means Certified Management Accountant. There are three simple steps you have to follow. The first one is that you have to enroll in the CMA program. Enrolling in the CMA program is done by visiting the IMA website, the link to which I'll be giving you in the description, and you have to pay your entrance fee and the membership fee. Then only you get enrolled for the program. As a trainer, I would always suggest you to enroll in the CMA program only after you're ready with the syllabus, that is, you're ready for your exam. Till then, what you can do is just create a user ID and password and become an IMA member. I hope it's clear to you. In case of any doubts, do let me know. So once you're ready with the exam syllabus, then you enroll in the CMA program by paying the entrance fee and the membership fee. The details I'll be giving you shortly. Next comes once you enroll, then you register for the CMA exam. You can either sit for part 1 or part 2 in any order. It's not necessary that you should do part 1 and only then part 2. You can do either part 1 or part 2 in the first window. As a trainer, I've always felt that part 2 is much easier to crack. And you can take the exams at the Prometric testing centers which are available worldwide. And the third one is once you pass both part 1 and part 2 exams, then you can apply for the CMA certification. For that, there are two main criteria that you have to meet with. The first one is that you should have a graduation certificate or a equivalent professional certificate, the details of which you can have in the CMA handbook, which is available in the IMA website. And secondly, you should have 2 years of working experience as a finance or a management professional. Please remember, even part-time work is allowed, but it should contribute to around 20 hours per week. Now, these are the three ways or the path to CMA certification. Let's talk about the exam structure and the rules related to that. CMA exam is done in two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is on financial planning, performance and analytics, and part 2 is on strategic financial management. The duration for each part's exam is 4 hours. In the first 3 hours, 100 multiple choice questions have to be solved. And once you crack at least 50% of the multiple choice questions, then the case-based questions window opens. Please remember, before it was essay-based questions, but from September, October window onwards, you do not have an option for essay-based questions. So you have 100 multiple choice questions and 2 case-based questions. The multiple choice questions will have 4 options, and out of the 4 options, you have to select one option. And the good part of it is that there is no negative marking. And in the 2 case-based questions, they'll be which you have to do within 1 hour. Each case-based question may have around 250 words scenario, and there'll be a number of multiple choice questions based on them. Please remember, you do not have to write long answers in the case-based questions, nothing. It's again like a multiple choice question, but presented in a different format. If you want to see how is a case-based question, I'll be uploading another video exclusively on case-based questions, taking an example and explaining how you may expect it in your exam. Now, please remember, you have to complete the program within 3 years from the entry into the program. That means suppose you are entering the exam on for the program on July 1st, you have 2026. By June 30, 2029, you should be completing the program. That means you have to pass both part 1 and part 2. In case you pass part 1 and then you are unable to do part 2 because of some reason during these 3 years, then you need to retake both the exams. So it's always better that as soon as you enroll in the program, do not miss out on any windows and try to write your exams and finish off the program as early as possible. The official testing windows are Jan, Feb, May, June, and September, October. So the last date, say for example, now the exam window that is approaching is September, October. So by October 15th, you have to register for the exam. So after October 15th till October 31st, you will not have any dates. They'll be closing the registration or the appointment for the exam. And you cannot take an exam part more than one time during a single testing window. Say, for example, in September, October, you're planning to take your exam. So in September, you wrote your part 1. So currently, as of now, you cannot, if you're not happy with part 1 in September, you cannot retake the exam in October. Yes, definitely you can take it in another examination window. You can have multiple examination, attempts. Here I'm giving you the portion related to the part 1, financial planning, analytics and control. Okay, so external financial reporting decisions, the weightage given is 15% and the key areas covered are financial statements. All the basic financial statements will be covered here, and we'll be doing recognition, measurement, valuation and disclosure related to all the current assets, liabilities, long-term assets and long-term liability. Now, when we say the weightage is 15%, the total marks for each exam is 500. So out of 500, 15% is given to this particular topic. 15% of 500 means around 75 marks. Out of 500 is given to this topic. Next topic is planning, budgeting and forecasting. So here 20% weightage is given, and these are the topics, mainly strategic planning, budgeting concepts and forecasting techniques. Then comes performance management. Again, 20%, that means 100 marks is devoted to this topic. Here you learn cost and variance measures and the performance measures like the KPIs, the balance scorecard, etc. Next comes cost management, 15% weightage. You learn all the wages measurement concepts, the costing systems like the absorption costing, the variable costing, job costing, all that. And you learn about how to allocate the overhead cost, service cost allocation, etc. Next comes internal controls, governance, risk and compliance and system controls. We'll be doing topics related to that. And the latest topic that has been recently added, technology and analytics, 15%. It's based on information systems, data governance and data analytics. As all of you know that CMA or the IMA keeps updating the portion of CMA or the CMA syllabus depending upon the latest trends. So now since AI has come into our financial planning and other areas, so definitely we as finance people have to be updated on these topics as well. So CMA has introduced technology and analytics as a part of that. Next comes part 2, which is on strategic financial management. Here again, the exam will be for 500 marks, and this weightage shows how much weightage is given to each topic. Financial statement analysis. In part 1, you learned to construct the statements. In part 2, you're learning how to read the financial statements and come to conclusions or observations. Now, basic analysis, financial ratios, you're going to study about all the ratios here, profitability analysis, and some special issues we're going to cover in this topic. Next comes corporate finance, a beautiful topic again. Risk and return, long-term investments and working capital management, restructuring, and we talk about international finance under this. The financial market also will be covering here. Business decision analysis, another, I think, a concept for which, CMAs are definitely needed. One is the cost, volume, profit analysis, marginal analysis, and pricing of the products. Enterprise risk management, a very important topic. I think we are all nowadays very much worried about how to control risk, correct? Especially nowadays, the cyber attack and things like that. So even the finance people, they are the ones I think who should be most aware of these topics. So we're going to cover complete enterprise risk assessment and management under this topic. Then comes capital investment decision, where we're going to cover capital budgeting and investment analysis methods, the net present value, and various methods which we use to analyze or accept or reject projects. Then comes professional ethics. Ethics is given a lot of importance in CMA. So 15% marks is dedicated to this topic, business ethics and ethical considerations. So these are the major topics which are covered in CMA, and from these topics itself, how we get an all-round exposure to all the important knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required by finance and accounts professionals in today's job. Now let's talk about the score to crack the exam. It's 360 out of 500 for each part. That means if you get around 72% marks, you are passing the exam. Now, where do you take the CMA exam? Now, CMA exam is administered in a computer-based format at prometric testing centers which are located throughout the world. Definitely, it's a fully 4 hours computer-based exam. Now, in the 3 hours, suppose you finish your MCQs within the first 2.5 hours, then you can enter the CBQ also, and you can take another 1.5 hours to finish your CBQs. But please remember, one of my students did that, and by mistake, something might have gone wrong. The CBQ did not open. Maybe she had not passed the 50% CBQs, or sorry, MCQs that she had done. Now, how do you find a location? An up-to-date listing of all Prometric testing centers can be found on the Prometrics website. Scheduling. How do you schedule the exam? First, you have to pay your examination fees by going to the IMA website. Please remember, membership fee and entrance fee is separate from examination fee. So once you pay the examination fee on the IMA website, you receive an authorization from ICMA. And this uh, you have to use in order to schedule your exam appointment at a Prometric testing center. So first you're entering the IMA website, you're paying the examination fee, getting an authorization from them, from ICMA, they'll give you an authorization code. With that, you'll go to the Prometric website and you will schedule an exam. You can schedule, confirm, reschedule, or even cancel your appointment online at the Prometric website. CMA program fees. If you're professional, your entrance fee is around $300, examination fee $545 per part dollars. IMA membership fee $295, and this annual maintenance fee $30. So this membership fee plus annual maintenance fee you have to keep paying every year in order to renew your membership. That is mandatory. If you want to keep your CMA certification, you have to pay this fee mandatorily every year. Along with that, you need to get 30 hours of CPEs, that is continuing professional education. So webinars are offered by IMA free of cost every week. So if we attend that, we can meet this 30 hours of CPE requirement. Now, if you're a student or an academic member, you have these facilities. Other, fee will be comparatively less as compared to the professional members. Now, what is the eligibility criteria for you to get the CMA certification? Now, even a college student who's doing the 12th or graduation, they can write the CMA examination and they will be getting the pass certificates once they pass both part 1 and part 2. But in order to enable them to get the certification, the student has to fulfill all of the following requirements. First, they should have an active membership in IMA, which means the annual fee you have to keep paying. You have an active CMA entrance fee. As I told you, the CMA entrance fee is paid one time when you're enrolling for the program. And within 3 years, you have to finish the program. Otherwise, you have to pay the entrance fee after the 3 years. You have to satisfy the educational qualification. That means you must be a graduate in order to get the certification. For writing the exam, you need not be a graduate, but in order to get that certification, definitely you need to be a graduate, and you should have 2 years of finance or accounts experience. It could be part-time work, it could be full-time work, anything. Complete all required examination parts. As I told you, you have to pass both part 1 and part 2. And you have to comply with the IMA Statement of Ethical Professional Practice, which I'll be explaining in another video. The CMA entrance fee for the certification program must be paid before taking the exams. And as I told you, you must complete the program within 3 years from the date of entry into the program. Entry into the program means by paying the membership fee and the entrance fee. And if you're not successfully completing the exams within 3 years of entering the program, any past part will expire. Please keep that in mind. And the CMA entrance exam will have to be repaid. So try to do your exams as early as possible. That's it. In case you have any doubts about CMA, I would love to clarify your doubts. Please post in the comments below any of the doubts that you have. So best wishes for your CMA exam preparation.